Okay, I'm super excited about this session because I'm about to teach some of the things that changed my life. As I shared in the WhatsApp group the other time, a journalist asked me a question and I replied in a funny way, and that was the truth. And I said, I know how to win in career and business because God taught me how to win through his word, right? Because I've been to places, I've won awards and stuff that according to my age, I should not be handling stuff like that. That's a fact. And that's where the incredible grace and the power of God and the goodness of God comes in. And that is when you operate in the wisdom and the knowledge of God and you're connected to him, that is what happens. So we're looking at manifesting. Oops, my laptop is freezing. Okay, manifesting as a mighty man / woman of valor in career and business. So I'm going to teach in a way that if you are a corporate professional, you work for a company, you don't run a business, of course, you're a corporate professional, and it's going to impact you in that direction. If you run a business, you are an entrepreneur, it is going to impact you in that particular dimension. And before we go, we have newcomers to us here. This is part of the weekly program that we do under professionals and entrepreneurs fellowship. And we focus on kingdom growth, success, and impact. And PEF is a non-denominational ministry, whether you are from the Pentecostal, Catholic, Muslim, wherever you are, you're welcome to this ministry. We are all about enhancing your potentials to grow and succeed for the glory of God, with the mission to raise kingdom-driven professionals and entrepreneurs by teaching them career and business success strategies with the Bible at the core, thereby transforming careers and businesses for the glory of God. And there are a couple of declarations that we have created that we use at Professionals at Entrepreneurship Fellowship. And many of these declarations are some that I created for myself to better understand myself, use them as my accountability, use them to teach myself and to remind myself and embed myself into certain belief systems, because a man can never rise above his or her unbelief system. A man can never rise above the principles and core values that he has set for themselves, for his or herself. And that's why I love to create principles and core values and systems and declarations and statements like this. And I have seen how these has help people to be different and to look at life in a different way. So this is a declaration I created that focuses on knowledge and skill acquisition, especially for Christians. We have Christians in the church. We have Christians who are serious believers in Christ, but they have no knowledge about industry matters. So they, like I always say, you see Christians who can fast and pray in tongues, but they are broke. They have no influence outside the church, which that is not, I don't think that is the will of God, right? The Bible said, go and dominate. Let man have dominion. You don't have dominion in your house. You have dominion outside, externally, right? So this declaration is to help people to declare to themselves on a daily basis as often as possible, so that it opens your mind and drives your heart and build that belief system towards knowledge and skill acquisition, which is important for your rising. And the Bible talks extensively about skills and knowledge acquisition. All right, so you can say this to yourself: I am and I will continue to be a diligent seeker of superior knowledge and high-performing skills. I know if I dream of it, without acquiring the right knowledge, skills, and action-oriented attitudes, I will be a failure. The Lord counsels me to go after the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of knowledge and skill. The Lord promises me my gift and skill is and will make room for me and bring me before great men, top CEOs, presidents, and more. That is my belief as far as a knowledge and skill acquisition is concerned. All right. So let us go let's go deep now into manifesting as a mighty man and woman of valor in career and business. And we are looking at Gideon as the case study. We're looking at him as the case study. Of course, we're going to stretch into other areas, but this will be the central point of our presentation or the masterclass. According to studies, the Bible records the expression mighty men of valor about 37 times in the Bible. And the description is mostly seen in the Old Testament in the narratives about men who responded to God's commands. And one thing I encourage people to do, or if you study people that have done incredible impact in their lives and in the various industries, they are good at one thing. They are good at looking at the history of the industry or the history of great men, and they also look at the foresight, the future of the industry or the future of the world. Let me tell you something about life. If you have the ability to pay attention to patterns, patterns are, this is what this person did in the last 10 years, and this pattern of living, this pattern of this kind of lifestyle enabled them to be able to do this. Same as you can study the pattern of somebody who has failed in life, you will see something. Now, one of the reasons why I love to study great people, both in the Bible and in our time, is to understand the patterns, because patterns make great men. Nobody just rises to the top. There is a story, there is a process, there is a pattern. And one good thing about studying the pattern of great men is to understand what did they do that made them handle the kind of results that they did. And where did they fail that you and I can make corrections and skip that particular mistake so we can become better than what they did. And that's the importance of us looking at great people like Gideon to understand what made them different, that they successfully left a legacy as far as their lifestyle was concerned according to the Bible. And if you look at most of these people that God addressed as mighty men of valor, most of them were ordinary men like you and me. But something happened. They only became extraordinary when they established a relationship with God. Most of them were ordinary men until they established a relationship with God. After they realized God's plan for their lives, they lived with a purpose and became brave men who were described as mighty men of valor. Please follow me carefully. These are deep things that if you understand them, they will transform your career and your business for good. Because these are some things that many people have no idea about. And that's why many people experience superficial success or short-term success, or they keep on struggling in the course of their lives, they are struggling. Meanwhile, they have the potentials of being incredible, successful people. Most of them were ordinary men like you and I until they established a relationship with God. I always say something when I write my success story or my journey. A book publishing house in the United States wants to write my biography, or they want to write the first half of my biography. And when we're talking and they were trying to interview people to know my journey, And I said that I believe that my career only started changing and gaining the shape that I desired when I fully established a strong relationship with God in April 2012. Yes, I grew up in a Christian family, I grew up in the church, but I did not have a contextual relationship with God. And when I discovered my purpose and what I'm supposed to do, the next most important thing that happened was the realization or the acceptance or the establishment of my relationship with God. And this happened in a full gospel church in Kumbu when a friend invited me for Wednesday Bible studies. I will never forget that day. And that turned a lot of things around. So there are a lot of ordinary men and ordinary women who will automatically become extraordinary if they are able to establish a strong relationship with God. Because after that, you begin to realize God's plans for your life. It is difficult to see a beautiful future. It is difficult to see a future full of possibilities when you are not in God, or when you are not part of your source, or when you are not connected to your source who can open you up to the future possibilities. It is difficult. But when that connection is established, when that relationship is created, you begin to realize the future possibilities. You begin to realize God's plans, and you begin to live by that purpose. And when you live by that purpose, your confidence becomes different. Your attitude changes, your personality changes, your bravery increases. And when that happens, you can be described as a mighty man or woman of valor. That's why there are some people that their level of audacity, their level of confidence towards their career and business, many people don't get to understand. The fact is, some people are not ordinary. Some people have transcended to the extraordinary dimension regarding their career and business, because they know from where they are operating, they know the kind of capacity, they know the kind of empowerment they have received from their source or from their creator. And valor simply means having great courage in the face of danger, especially in battle. You agree with me that building a thriving career, building an incredible business, especially from this part of the world in Africa, especially in a country like Cameroon, where there are a lot of things that are not in place to support exceptional growth in career and business, you will face a lot of challenges. Many of you are currently facing a lot of challenges because policies are not favorable. Governance is not the best. The political scene is not good. Many economic policies don't support innovation and business establishment and growth. Many things are not in play like in other countries. Now, you need to be different. You need to go a step further. And that is where understanding how to function as a mighty man or woman of valor becomes very important in your journey, because you are fighting a serious battle. Your fight is different, way, way different. Now, let's look at what is that lifestyle? What is that lifestyle that can make you a mighty man, a mighty woman of valor? What is that lifestyle that you need to start living from today regarding that career, regarding that business that you're building for the glory of God? What is the lifestyle that you need to embody so you can shine, so you can rise, and you can become exceptional, you can become extraordinary for the glory of God? All right, let's go deep into this and get some stuff. If you're following me and you're still getting me loud and clear, write in the chat box loud and clear. If you are there, write in the chat box loud and clear. Good. All right, let's get to the lifestyle right. Let's get to the lifestyle right now. The first lifestyle that we are going to look at, if you really in your career, in that industry where you want to dominate, in that industry where you desire to be an industry captain, in that industry where you desire to build one of the best companies that will ever exist, the first lifestyle that you need to know how to embody from today is understand how to alter the old non-productive patterns and introduce the best options. Intentionally be committed at altering old non-productive patterns and introducing best patterns. Because if you function in an industry, if you function in a sector, and you keep on repeating the old patterns that every other person is doing, you're not going to stand out. And that doesn't make you a mighty man or woman of valor. You understand? If you study the book of Judges, which that's where we're studying Gideon, you understand that, you know, the Israelites kept on messing up, and God kept on appointing judges and all of that, and it was not going anywhere. It was not making sense. Right? Instead of following the Lord and keeping the covenant, the new generation of Israelites abandoned him. Right? Many if you study the Bible, we see that many Israelites stopped worshiping God and started worshiping false gods of the people of Canaan. Now, something happened, and that's why we're picking this one. If you look at Judges chapter 6, verse 25, that same night the Lord said to him, take the second bull from your father's head, the one 7 years old, tear down your father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. Now, this is Gideon altering old non-productive patterns. What was the non-productive patterns? The Israelites were worshiping false gods. That is a non-productive pattern. Now, he had to alter the non-productive patterns to introduce the best option, which was worshiping the true living God. Look at this. Judges 6:25. Tear down your father's altar to Baal. That is altering a non-productive pattern, deleting it, changing something that is no longer working or serving people. You cut it off. And then verse 26, that is when he introduced the best option. Alter the old non-productive patterns. Look at that industry. What is not working? What can you alter? Maybe that they have been using old technology, old systems, old policies, old products, whatever they're doing that is no longer serving the market well. How can your own company bring in something better or have a plan to alter the non-productive patterns and introduce the best pattern? Verse 26, then build a proper kind of altar to the Lord, introducing the best pattern in the industry, in that particular sector. You see, then build a proper kind of altar to the Lord your God on the top of this height. Using the wood of the Asherah pole that you cut down, offer the second bowl as a burnt offering. You alter an old non-productive pattern, then at the same time, you begin the process of introducing the new innovative pattern, which is the best option that can produce better results. You will not shine in your career. You will not build a better business in that industry if you keep on repeating the old non-productive patterns like everybody else. You have to go a step further and begin to find ways that you can build innovative solutions, innovative systems and policies and products and whatever that you can build, technologies that you can introduce that can produce the best value for the market or where you find yourself. This is what Gideon did that qualified him as a mighty man of valor. So if you are good at copying and pasting, if you are good at not pushing your mind to be a critical thinker, you are doing yourself a disservice. We've got some work to do, especially across the African continent. We've got a lot of work to do. We need to rise in the marketplace and begin to alter non-productive patterns and start introducing the best options so we can be able to create value that has not existed before. Number two, the second lifestyle that people who are regarded as mighty men of valor need to live is you need to intentionally be on a journey to deliver people from oppression. Yes, you need to be on a journey to deliver people from oppression. You cannot expect to be regarded or respected as a mighty man of valor, as a mighty woman of valor in your career and business, when your career cannot liberate people from oppression. Let's say, for example, you're a trained marketing professional. You go to a company and they have been making losses that have not been profitable for the last 3, 4, 5 months. And that company is going through oppression because they are not profitable. The only way that you can change that situation is for you to deliver that company from that bad oppression of poor sales and bad profitability. Let's look at Gideon. What happened? Judges 6:2. Because the power of Midian was so oppressive, look at that. Because the power of Midian was so oppressive, the Israelites prepared shelters for themselves in the mountains, caves, and strongholds. Israelites ran away. They ran away from their homes. They ran away from their land to the mountains because they were oppressed. There are people that are not functioning at their best now because something is oppressing them. And until you rise up to start doing your job, you will not be able to deliver them from that oppression. If Gideon did not rise up when he had an encounter with God, he would not have delivered the Israelites from this oppression. Look at the industry. Look at the community. Look at where you work. Look at even you yourself, you could be in oppression. You need to rise up and deliver yourself, your family, your community, your business, whatever you find yourself, from that oppression. That is what mighty men and women of valor do. If it's poverty, that is oppression. If it's poor sales, that is oppression. If it's ignorance, that is oppression. If it is laziness, that is oppression. If it's procrastination, that is oppression. Because anything that controls you to produce negative results or to produce pain is oppressing you. And you need to do something to deliver yourself or the group of people from that oppression. So if you are somewhere and somebody or a group of people or an institution is going through oppression and you are not taking actions to cause a liberation, to deliver them from that oppression, then you are not living your life as a mighty man or woman of valor. Number three, the third lifestyle that you have to live to manifest in your career and business as a mighty man of valor is create the environment where people can freely innovate and produce. Create that environment where you can encourage people, or when people can feel encouraged to freely innovate and produce. Let's look at this. In Judges chapter 6 verse 3, whenever the Israelites planted their crops, the Midianites, Amalekites, and other eastern peoples invaded the country. Nobody can be innovative when they are oppressed. Nobody can produce when you know that when you plant, when you try to innovate, when you try to create, somebody comes and oppresses you and destroy your farm or destroy your business. Verse 6, Judges 6, verse 6 says, Midian so impoverished the Israelites that they cried out to the Lord for help. They so much destroyed them. They so much destroyed them until they had to cry out for help. And when they were liberated, the people could freely plant, nurture, water, do whatever they can do until harvest time. But if they were still planting and the Midianites, the Amalekites, to come and invade them, there is no time to nurture. There's no time to incubate. There's no time to innovate and produce. So if you say that you are a mighty man of valor, you have that capacity, you have that willingness and that intentionality to create an environment where even you yourself, you can innovate and produce, where your business, where your employees, your team members can innovate and produce, where your subordinates can innovate and produce, where your community can innovate and produce. You see, that's why we look at countries that are going forward. Look at countries in Europe, Eastern Central Europe, North America, in the Middle East. Look at countries that are performing very well. Look at what they have done. They have created an environment where people can freely innovate and produce. Why are many companies going to Dubai to register in Dubai? Dubai has one of the best laws that promotes innovation and technology. You can freely innovate, create, and produce. In those days of Silicon Valley in California, many companies used to go there and start up there because the environment encouraged innovation and production. Many are now going now to Texas and there's now Silicon Hills and all of that rising up in other parts of the United States because the governors and the leadership of various states are creating environments where people can freely innovate and produce. Look at the best world performing companies, from Apple, one of the most valuable companies in the world, to Tesla, to Microsoft, to Facebook, and all of that. Amazon, look at their leadership structure. They seriously encourage innovation and production. They don't have policies that reduces people. They listen to ideas and innovation. Now come to Africa. We have company owners, we have CEOs, we have departmental heads. They don't listen to ideas of other people. They don't listen to suggestions of their own employees. Look at the level of growth. One head has never built an incredible company. One of the most incredible things that we need to start happening in Africa is that leaders need to start creating an environment where people can freely innovate and produce. You need to start creating an environment where you can innovate and produce. Some of you, the people that are invading you are the kind of friends that you have. They invade your privacy, they invade your life, they distract you, you don't do what you're supposed to do that makes sense. So some level of change needs to happen. You need to intentionally move to the environment or create an environment that can encourage you to innovate and produce, because you would never innovate and produce in a chaotic environment, in an environment where you are feeling impoverished, or in an environment where you are invaded negatively always. You cannot create in that kind of environment. Number 4, do not be idle in the midst of chaos and challenges. If you are still following me and you're picking up some important lessons, write in the chat box, I am learning something new. Write in the chat box. If you are learning something new, give me some excitement in the chat box. Let me know that you're not sleeping. If you're learning something new, leave something in the chat box. Awesome. Good. All right, let's proceed. Let's proceed. Do not be idle in the midst of chaos and challenge. If you study the book of Judges, you will understand that the Israelites were going through a lot of chaos. They were going through a lot of troubles since the Lord left and stopped covering them, right? And the Lord allowed it in the way, since God was no longer with them. So the Amalekites, the Midianites kept on oppressing them, attacking them, all of that. So they were in challenges. They were in difficulties. They were in a war zone. They were in an unstable environment. Let's put it that way. Right? Do not be idle in the midst of chaos and challenges. If you look at Judges chapter 6, verse 11, the angel of the Lord came and sat down under the oak in Ophrah that belongs to Joash, the Abiezrite, where his son Gideon was threshing wheat in a wine press to keep it from the Midianites. Now, Gideon was working to keep it from the Midianites. The Midianites were the people oppressing them. Even in the midst of that chaos, even in the midst of that challenge, even in the midst of that battle, even in the midst of that difficulty, he was doing something productive. He was doing something productive with his time. He was not just idling in the house and sitting and doing nothing. He was doing something productive. In the midst of your difficulties, in the midst of your challenges, what are you doing with your time? Some people will just sit and complain and lament and cry day in, day out, nothing is happening. But there are some people that can decide and focus on what I call value-creating activities. You know, people talk a lot about being patient. There are two ways to be patient. You can be patient while waiting for something to happen and change your life while you're doing nothing. Meanwhile, you can be patient and you're growing yourself. You can be patient and you're carrying out value-creating activities. In the midst of challenges, in the midst of chaos and difficulties, what are you doing with your time? Are you like Gideon, who was threshing wheat in a wine press, creating value for his people, for himself, for his family? Or you are like other people who whine and complain and cry and blame people from here and there. At the end of the day, all they cry is, I'm hungry and I am tired. What are you doing in the midst of your challenges? You, in your case, or in our cases, we may not be in the midst of any battle. We may not be in the midst of any war. You may be in a town that is at peace. But maybe you don't have a job, you don't have any business, you're unemployed, or you have a business, but things are not going the way you expect. What are you doing in the midst of that challenge? A mighty man and woman of valor in the midst of that challenge and difficulty will identify value-creating activities and start doing them. It could be reading an industry book. It could be attending trainings. It could be studying courses. It could be building their mental capacity in general. It could be learning a new skill. It could be building new networks. It could be trying to innovate and create a new product prototype. But you should be doing something that is valuable. Do not be idle because you are challenged. I always advise people, in the midst of your difficulties, avoid isolating yourself. Many people have gone into depression because in the midst of challenge, they isolated themselves, they remain alone, and when you are alone, you're only thinking of your difficulties and your past and your challenges. But if you are in an environment whereby activities are going on, and possibly productive activities, surround yourself in an inspiring environment with people that make sense, people that are going somewhere. They're going to inspire you to make sure you do something that is building your capacity. The challenge with most people is when they are in their most difficult moment, when they're in their most challenging moment, they they withdrew. They leave the most important things that they should be doing, and they focus on being idle and thinking and going into deep thoughts, which will only hurt them at the end. My charge for you is, in the midst of your chaos, in the midst of your challenges, there are some of you that God is taking you to incredible heights. God is going to put you on new platforms to rise and go to global places. God is going to so bless you. But that time has not come yet. You are still in your training season. You are still in your building season. You are still in your learning season. What are you doing in that season? Don't stop only seeing that, oh, doors are not opening. I am not being blessed like others. You cannot compare your first year in business, in industry, or in ministry with somebody who has been there for 10 years. You are still in your years of training and grooming and incubating. But what you do within that particular season is very important. So do not be idle in the midst of chaos and challenges. That is a very important lifestyle that you need to practice as a mighty man or woman of valor. Number 5, maintain a relationship with God. Maintain a relationship with God. Very important. Let me tell you, to rise to the top, you need more than your mental capabilities. To rise to the top, you need more than your certificates. To rise to the top, you need more. I'm going to spend some time here because it's important. Maintain a strong personal relationship with God. It is in the mighty hands of God that he made Gideon a mighty man of valor. Please follow me here carefully. See, until Gideon encountered God, he was not called a mighty man of valor. On his own, he was not a mighty man of valor. It is in the hands of God. It is in the mighty hands of God that he was made a mighty man of valor. Many of us, you will only be made a mighty man of valor in your career and business in the mighty hands of God, when you have committed fully that career and that business into the mighty hands of God. That is when you will be qualified to be made a mighty man of valor in your career and business. You see, Gideon was working hard. Gideon was working on the wheat. Under the sun, he was working. So there's a place for hard work. There's a place for personal responsibility. There's a place for commitment. There's a place for consistency and persistence. There's a place where you need to do the work. While you begin to do the work and you begin to invite God and you build a strong relationship with God, and when God fully sets in, automatically in his mighty hands, you become a mighty man of valor. In his mighty hands, you become the mighty man of valor. Gideon was full of excuses. Go and read the book of Judges. He was full of fear. He was full of unbelief. That was what he showed. He was able to demonstrate. And this all happened before he was able to deliver the Israelites. Before he encountered God, he was full of fear and unbelief. There are some of us, we are afraid, oh, how is this career going to look like? Will this business go places? You're even doubting your own future. Will I succeed tomorrow? Oh, will I make money? Oh, will I do this? Oh, will I do that? You are driven by fear and unbelief. And on your own, that will drive you because everything around you is showing that it's not possible. But hey, when God is at the center of the career and the business, when you are in his mighty hands, you will become the mighty man or woman of valor. It is critical to understand this. You see, God didn't call Gideon a mighty man of valor because he saw that character trait in Gideon from the beginning. No. If you study the book of Judges, Gideon did not have the character trait of mighty man of valor. He did not have the character trait of a great man. Gideon was called a mighty man of valor because of who God is. God had plans to make Gideon a mighty man of valor because God is the mighty man of valor. If you read the book of Judges, you will notice Gideon was not the mighty man of valor. He did not have the personality of greatness. He did not have the mindset of greatness. He did not have the lifestyle of greatness. But when he encountered God, he became the mighty man of valor. Gideon was called the mighty man of valor because of who God is. And because he encountered a God who is the mighty man of valor, he became the mighty man of valor as a leader in his community. Many of us don't yet have that personality trait of a great man, of a great woman. We don't yet have the mindset, the confidence of a great man or woman. We don't yet have the attitude of a great man or woman. That's why we need to grow deep in our relationship with God, and he begins to reveal to us the mightiness in us through him. Oh, let me tell you something. You know, throughout primary school, I was consistently last in class. That means I was that stupid, right? I was consistently last in class. So I failed the common entrance because I could not write anything that made sense. I failed in the common entrance, right? And I succeeded to pass the first school. I don't know how. Secondary school, it was the same, right? So there are many teachers that when they see me today and look at the main secondary school and high school, all of that, they are two different people. The salvation of Jesus and the relationship with God is a full package. It's a full package. Some of the things that start happening is the revelations regarding your character and your personality. It begins to open you up. Or if you told me someday that I will sit and advise ambassadors to come to Cameroon about the economic situation of Cameroon, the business ecosystem, or I will sit with presidents and ministers and advise them about the African economy, what we should be doing to advance the economy, I will tell you it's not possible. I will tell you it's not possible. I didn't have that personality. I didn't have that character trait. I didn't have that intelligence. I didn't have that wisdom. It was not there. But today I travel nations and do all of these things. So I want us to understand this. God didn't call Gideon a mighty man of valor because he saw the character in him. No. The character was not in him per se. He did not see him living like that, no. But God knew that if I come into him as a mighty man of valor myself, I will convert him. I will convert his character. I'll convert his mindset. I'll convert his personality to become a mighty man of valor himself. But of course, Gideon had to do some work himself. And I can bet that God was happy that when he encountered Gideon, Gideon was doing some work. Gideon was not lazing in the father's house doing nothing. Gideon was not lazing in the community and gossiping up and down. No, that's not what he was doing. Look at this, verse 6, chapter 11. Where his son Gideon was threshing wheat, Gideon was doing something. He was not gossiping in the quarters with his friends. He was not sleeping and lazing around and complaining about the government. He was up to something. And I know that God was impressed with him. God was impressed with the character that he was not idle. God did not rebuke him for his fear and unbelief. If you study your Bible very well, you will notice that when Gideon encountered God, and God asked him that he should go and pull down the altar and all of that, Gideon started complaining. Gideon was afraid. He had unbelief. Oh, can I do it? Oh, all of that. Instead of raising all of these complaints, if you notice something, God did not rebuke him for his fear. What happened? God walked beside him. God shaped his integrity. God shaped him into a mighty man of valor that he has declared him to be. And many of us, we are not comfortable with that process. Many people are not comfortable with the training process. Many of us are not comfortable with God training and shaping us into the mighty men and women we should be. We are not comfortable studying. Some of you here, since the year started, one book you have not finished. You have not read one book in your industry and it's complete. One book you have not finished. You are lazing up and down. You don't want to go through the process. You cannot sit under mentorship and coaching and grow the right way. You don't want to be shaped. God is using people to teach you. You are not ready to go through that process. Many people are not able to handle the greatness that God has prepared for them because they have not been shaped into that mighty greatness that God has prepared for them. God knew that Gideon was afraid. Oh, he knew that he had some unbelief, but he walked beside him. He walked with Gideon and consistently shaped him into the mighty man of valor that he desired him to be. This session is part of God shaping you and teaching you certain things. Will you go and do it? Some of you, procrastination will not allow you to do anything. Laziness will not allow you to implement what you know. Some of you, knowledge is not your problem. The challenge is going through the process of implementing what you know. You don't want to go through the process of God shaping you into the mighty man and woman of valor. That is your challenge. Some of you will not allow God to shape you. Pride will kill you. God has directed some people who can become mentors and pastors or coaches to advise you. But when they advise you, you don't hear. You don't go and do anything that they tell you to do. And that is God using those men and women who have gone ahead of you to coach you, to teach you, to shape you into the mighty man and woman of valor he desires you to be. But how will you do it? No. Pride will not allow you to learn and become better. But yet you desire success. Yet you want to become a mighty man and woman of valor. God is not a magician. You will go to God is a God of process and principles. There's a level of God that you will only encounter when you have gone through the process and you respect the principles. That level of God is, you don't encounter, see, there's a level of God you encounter by fasting and prayers. There's another level of God you encounter by going through the process and respecting the principles. That's why God is everywhere, but you cannot encounter God everywhere. There are some things you have to go through for he himself to shape you into that mighty man and woman of valor. A mighty man of valor is one who relies on God while realizing he can't fulfill his mission alone. Oh yes, you know you've got a mission, you've got a vision, but you also rely on God that, Lord, if you cannot go ahead of me, I will fail. I need you to accompany me. I need your wisdom. I need your knowledge. I need your preservation. I need your protection. I need your grace. I need your anointing. I need the spirit of excellence to go with me. If these things go with you, if God goes with you, it comes along with this package. And you realize that mission. Judges 6 verse 16 says, the Lord answered, I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites, leaving none alive. God went with Gideon. I will be with you. Your relationship with God will guarantee God to be with you in that career journey, will guarantee God to be with you in that business you're trying to build. That mission is too big for you, a small head alone. You need the all-knowing God to accompany you. You are too small to fight the visible and the invisible battle that will come your way. You need the omnipresent God to go with you. You understand? This is very important. Your strength alone will fail you. There is a level where human capabilities can reach. It's limited. Then the unlimited divine capabilities now set in. And that unlimited divine capabilities only set in based on the quality and the context of relationship you have with this God. It doesn't just set in overnight. It's set in on the basis of relationship. This is God talking with a man one-on-one. I will be with you. I will be with you. There's something I always teach some of my clients. I always tell them about the 1% chance that it will work. I always tell them, look, if you are really serious at succeeding, there are some things that you will embark and do. If there is only 1% chance that it will work, do it. But let me tell you, men in the kingdom, businessmen and women in the kingdom, there are some things that calculating mental-wise is not possible. But hey, the Holy Spirit will say, go and do it. Oh, there are many things I've done in my life, personally, in my career, personally. I had just looking at the analysis, normally, there's just like 1% or less than 1% chance it's going to work. But God will say, do it. Humanly talking, it doesn't look possible. Humanly speaking, it doesn't sound like this real. But God says, go, do it. It's going to work. That only happened based on the context of the relationship that you have. Gideon replied in verse 17, if now I have found favor in your eyes, give me a sign that it is really you talking to me. Or you can ask for a sign. But again, it is based on the kind of relation. You cannot be visiting God once a month. You pray once a month. You go to church once in 2 months. And then you want to come and chat with God. Like, look at Gideon is chatting with God as if he's chatting on WhatsApp. As if it's a voice note, he's exchanging with God, right? WhatsApp voice note. God sends a voice note, he now replies the voice note, right? That's the kind of relationship he had with God. But what these verses are telling us is, a mighty man of valor is one who relies on God while realizing he can't fulfill his mission alone. Oh, he knows that there's a part he has to play. There's a part of hard work. There's a part of self-responsibility. There's a part of self-accountability. But hey, I also know that for me to go further and for me to experience sustainable success, I know that the King of Kings has to go with me. I know that I have to recognize and enthrone the King of Kings as God over the business, as the chairman over my career. When that happens, you become an unstoppable force. If you are being blessed, let me know in the chat box. If you are being blessed, tell me what is standing out for you so far. If you will never remain the same, if you know your career and business will never remain the same, tell me in the chat box. Let us see. All glory to God. All right, let us proceed. Number six, the thing you can see from Gideon when it comes to being a mighty man of valor is leveraging untrusted and competent people to carry out critical tasks. Leveraging untrusted and competent people to carry out critical tasks. Judges 6:27 says, so Gideon took 10 of his servants and did as the Lord told him. Just this verse, God has told me a lot of things in this verse. So Gideon took 10 of his servants, 10 of his friends, 10 of his staff, 10 of whoever, and did as the Lord told him. Let me ask you, let me ask you people here now. If God asks you to go and do something, can you trust your 5 closest friends to go and do something? Can you trust them? I always say something funny. I always say this: if you are 22 years and above, and you have a problem of 200,000 francs, and your 5 closest friends cannot raise that money for you, in about 3 minutes, just send you to mobile money or bank transfer, like pap, 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 okay, get it sorted, done. You have a problem. Your network, your circle has a problem. I am not saying that friendship is determined by money. What I'm saying is the quality of your personality, the kind of person you are, the kind of value that you command also determines the kind of men and women you have in your close circle. Check yourself. This was a very important task. The Lord God himself. Imagine now the head of state now calls you. Imagine now a great man calls you and gives you a task. Who will you take along to execute that task? Who will you take along? Mighty men and women of valor have trusted and competent people around them. They build a strong relationship. So Gideon took 10 of his servants. His is personalized. His is personalized. And they did. Did means the task was completed. It was not halfway. It was not a mediocre. It was not average. It was completed. And did as the Lord told them. Don't take people. People have no sense, no skills, nothing, and keep them around you. People cannot complete tasks. People cannot finish anything that makes sense. And you claim you have friends. Something is wrong with you and those are friends. So Gideon took 10 of his servants, 10 of his friends, 10 of his trusted and competent friends. How do I know they were competent? Because they did as the Lord told them. There were no complaints, no shortcomings. They did as the Lord told them. Competent and dedicated men. Competent and dedicated friends. Some of you have friends, no vision, no goals, no plans, no school, no skills. They're good at nothing, but they're so good at gossiping and backbiting. Some of you need to dump some average friends and begin to build new relationships. No man rises alone. One of the best gifts to humanity is the gift of man. If there's one thing you can pray for, is the gift of man. Let me tell you, there's no day again. God's not going to leave heaven and come down again. God will use men, but you have a role to play to build relationships. Some of us, our mouth, the way we talk, no respect. You talk anyhow. No respect for any human being around you. Nobody trusts you. Nobody likes you because you are not respectful. But you will be praying and asking for open doors. Open doors will pass through men. God will use men to bless you. Everything was made for him and by him and for him. Even God can use an occultic man to bless you, but your bad mouth will make him angry and he will not bless you again. Leveraging on trusted and competent people to carry out critical tasks. Who can you trust around your circle? Who can you trust? Do you have competent people around you? You have uneducated, lazy people who don't read one book a month. Even you yourself, have you even read one book a month, sir? Are you competent? You want to look for competent friends. Are you competent? Let's come back there first of all. Are you competent? Can they trust you? You are looking for trusted people. Can you trustworthy? Somebody tells something now, boop, the next minute you have 10 friends on WhatsApp voice note. You are not trustworthy. You take somebody's money, you cannot pay back on time. You borrow money, you never pay back. You have borrowed like 16 friends. Now you are stranded, you really stranded, you need money, nobody can give you money. because you are not trustworthy. Mighty men and women of valor leverage untrusted and competent people. It means that they also build, they invest in good relationships. He took 10 of his servants. He was not looking for them. The Bible says he took. So he knew where to get them. He was not looking, the Bible says he was looking for servants to use. No. He took, he knew, he went to the guys, let's get to work. There's some of you, you're stranded now, you start begging help for people you have not texted for the last 3 months or 4 months. You are confused on who to ask for help from. You're looking for who to beg from. You don't have a trusted circle that you can go to say, guys, I need this right now. Can you bail me out? And they'll move heaven and earth for your sake to bail you out. Check yourself. Check yourself. Then check your circle. And start doing what is right. Wake up and do what is right. Please. God will. Mute your mind. Okay. Number 7. Mighty men and women of valor, they care less. They care less about people's opinions. But they are strategic to avoid traps and they focus on their mission. Follow me here carefully. Mighty men and women of valor, they care less about people's opinions, yes. But at the same time, they are strategic and they avoid traps that people can set for them and they focus on their mission. Judges 6:30. The people of the town demanded of Joash, bring out your son, he must die because he has broken down Baal's altar and cut down the altar, right? Now look at, those were the people's opinion because Gideon had respected what the Lord had commanded him to do, to go and pull down the altar and raise the altar of God. Now the people came and were looking for him and say he must die. If you study the book of Judges, there is nowhere in the book of okay. I had to remove him from the stuff. Careless about people's opinions, be strategic and avoid traps and focus on the mission. Now, in this verse, people were ganging up against him, right? And trying to pull him down, speaking against his decision, speaking against him, his actions and all of that. Those are people's opinions. There are some of you that there are some things in your heart. See, now note this, when Gideon encountered God, nobody was there. When Gideon received the instructions from God, nobody was there. So only him knew what he was doing. Some people consider him mad. Like some of you, maybe there's a vision you received in your heart, and now you are thinking of resigning from your job, but nobody understands why you are resigning from your job. Only you and God know what you guys spoke about. Only you know what you saw. But people's opinions will rise. The people made noise against Gideon. Oh, you will die. Oh, he has broken down this. He's a very stupid man. Oh, he has done this. When we catch him, we will beat him. They were asking the father to bring out the son. But there is no record of Gideon arguing with the people why he did what he did. There's no record. See, it is not all the times you have to explain yourself, especially if you are convicted and you know that what you're doing is very clear. You are not doubting. You don't need to explain yourself. You need to focus on the mission, but avoid traps. They said he must die. But Gideon was not killed by these people, so he was very strategic to avoid the traps. I'm sure he knew that they were looking for him to kill him, so he did not pass around the father's house. It's the same that you can know people are jealous about you, and there are some potentials that they can poison you. Okay, be strategic. Avoid eating anyhow everywhere, for example. Right? This is very important. That's why if you study some great people, you understand there are certain things that they don't do in public. It's wisdom for people at the top. There are certain things they don't do in public. It's about being strategic and avoiding certain traps. There are some people that they never comment about what people say to them in public. It's not relevant. They focus on their mission. Some people who are still babies, they want to reply every comment on Facebook. They want to argue, oh, why are you saying this about my name? Oh, why are you gossiping about me? What's your problem? Focus on the mission. You're wasting your energy. Focus on important things that matter. Oh, people are going to set traps against you. Oh, yes, they will do. And of course, as you're connected to your source, you have a strong relationship with the Holy Spirit. So he will tell you, he will tell you, oh, don't go here. You respect that you don't go there. Be strategic and avoid traps. But most important, focus on the mission. Don't let the opinions of other people derail you from the mission God has given you. Oh, people raised up against him. They rose up against him. He will die. Who asked him? Who permitted him to pull down the altar of Baal? God permitted him. But if he stood there to explain, they would never understand. Do you know why? They did not see him when he was talking to God. And God did not appear to them to tell them that he has sent Gideon to pull down the altar. You see something? God only spoke to Gideon. The responsibility of whatever happens on there, you need to use your sense. And that's why wisdom is profitable to direct. Because if Gideon was not killed by the mob or by the community, he was very strategic enough to avoid the trap of going where people will kill him. Number eight, influencing and rallying people for a mission. Influencing and rally people for a mission. Yes, mighty men and women of valor, they are very good, exceptionally good at influencing people and rallying people for a mission. Judges 6:34, then the Spirit of the Lord came on Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, summoning the Abyssrites to follow him. It takes more than words. It takes more than you being a human being for people to follow you. There's more to that. And if you don't understand this, there are people that have visions that people are not following them. There are people that have things to say, people are not there to listen. I always feel grateful to have people gather to listen to what I have something to say. Nobody's gathered to listen. What we do with it? It's good to appreciate people. Thank them for being there. Then the Spirit of the Lord came on Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, summoning the Abyssrites to follow him. 35. He sent messengers throughout Manasseh, calling them to arms, and also into Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali. So they too went up to meet them, influencing and rallying people for a mission. You cannot be a mighty man of valor, a mighty woman of valor. You don't know how to build a team. You don't know how to build a community of vision believers. There are two critical things that made Gideon to be able to influence and rally people. Number one, the Spirit of the Lord was upon him. The Spirit of God was upon him. There is a spirit that attracts the right people into your life. There is an anointing. that summons the right people into your life. You need to pray and ask for that anointing, the spirit that makes people to believe you, the spirit that backs your words. When you speak, people listen. Second thing that made him to be able to influence and rally people, he had a mission to deliver the Israelites, to save the Israelites, to bring back the Israelites back to their winning ways, back to God's ways. You cannot influence and rally people without a strong mission. You cannot lead people into an empty air, into you had a direction. You need to lead people somewhere. Let people see that, hey, if I follow this person, I am going here. This person will take me here. You don't just wake up and you gather people for no reason. There must be a very clear objective. What is your mission? Some people run startups. At the startup level, you don't have the money to pay good employees. One of the most important things that you have to give people is to sell them the vision. A good startup entrepreneur, a good founder must be very good at selling the mission to the people who can join them. At the moment, my company has full-time staff. But let me tell you, at the beginning, I didn't have full-time staff. I had mostly volunteers. And a couple of people that work for me right now, they didn't start very good salaries, right? Some senior guys in the positions started what? Some started with 15,000 francs, transport allowance. Some started with 25,000, 30,000, all of that. The only thing I told them was, I said, look, I'm building something. But you see, I need you to trust me. I need to believe in this thing I'm building. And I need you to build this thing. They didn't stay because I was paying them good salary. No, how much is 15,000 francs to give somebody in Douala with transport? It's not even enough for 1 month. Even in those days back in Kumba and Bamida, there are many young guys that worked with me then. The only thing they believed in was what I was trying to build from the 2012 and 13 and 14 and 15 and all of that. You see, you need to know how to influence people. You need to know how to influence people. You need to pray for the spirit, for the ability, for the anointing to speak, and people will listen. Your mere words alone are not that powerful, especially in a leadership position. Number two, sell a vision to people. He sent messengers to Manasseh, calling them to arms, calling them to take arms for a battle, for a vision, for a purpose. You cannot just gather people for nothing. You don't influence people like that. People that are very intelligent. You need to give them something more. If you can fast and pray, you may need to fast and pray to get the Spirit of God to come upon you, to back your voice, to back every word that you speak. It comes to power. If you study the book of Esther, you notice that Esther fasted for days to go and speak for the king, maybe for just a few minutes. She was fasting for something. Oh Lord, when I begin to speak to the king, may he listen. There's a place for practice also. Practice is part of prayer. Training is part of prayers. You don't know. You want to go speak to an investor, practice your pitch. Practice your presentation. When you talk, they will listen. When you talk, the excellence in your presentation, the seamlessness in your presentation, the mastery of your presentation can speak to their hearts, can influence them to invest in you. You're going for a job interview, practice. Know about the position, the excellence, how you respond to questions, the quality of your conversation can influence the interviewing panel to give you that job. But you've got to pray and practice before you do that. A mighty man and woman of valor is very good at rallying and influencing people. Number 9, God works with men and women who are full of faith and boldness. See, if there's one thing I've learned about God in my personal work with him, God doesn't like it when I portray fear. He doesn't like it when I portray doubt. He doesn't like it at all. And many of them like that. God doesn't like it. God loves people who set out in faith, audacity, boldness, and courage. Even God has used the word courage. Look at Joshua. Be courageous. Judges 7:3 says, now announce to the army, anyone who trembles with fear may turn back and leave Mount Gilead. So 22,000 men left while 10,000 men remained. Look at what God said. That's God speaking of. The King of Kings himself. Anyone who trembles with fear, let them turn back and leave. You are embarking on that career. You are embarking on that business. That's why in your heart you're saying, you go work, you not go work, you go work, you not go work. You are just confusing yourself and God at the same time. God doesn't like that. You want to do it, set up your mind and do it. Don't let fear of failure stop you. Be bold enough, set out and get it done. You keep procrastinating. You say, I will do it. You have never done it. The boldness to set out and do it is not there. God doesn't work with men and women who are full of faith and boldness. He will do wonders with you when you know you are placed in him, when you have faith in him and believe in yourself, when you are bold enough to set out in that career, in that business, God will do wonders for you. Grow your faith. Grow your boldness and audacity. Invest in your confidence. Invest in how you look at things and see the mighty things that God will do for you. Number 10, mighty men and women practice resource allocation and strategic action plan. Yes, you cannot claim to be a mighty man and a mighty woman of valor, meanwhile you waste resources. No. Resource allocation and strategic action plan is very important. Judges chapter 7 verse 16, divide the 300 men into 3 companies. That is resource allocation. That's God giving instructions to Gideon. Allocate these men into 3 companies. 100 makes 1 company or 1 battalion, all of that. He placed the trumpets and empty jars in the hands of all men with torches in their hand. Resource allocation. Some of us were struggling because this money that God blessed us, we wasted it. You excitedly took all the money, went and bought dresses with it. Now you have dresses, but you don't have transport to pay and go to where you want to go. You are broke. Poor resource allocation. You've made money, you cannot sit and plan how to use that money well. Now the money is finished, you have wasted it, now you're back to zero and struggling. Poor resource allocation. Entrepreneurs who are into business, when you try to raise capital, one of the most important questions that an investor likes to ask you to understand is, how will this money be used? Investors like to know how the money they are giving you will be allocated in your business. You can say, oh, 15% goes to marketing, 10% goes to get additional staff, and 50% goes to expansion to a new town, 10% will buy an equipment. They like to understand how you allocate that money that you're raising as capital from them to take the business to another level. Some of you need to wake up and invest in your resource allocation. Some of you have good salaries. Salary is not the bribe they pay to forget your dreams. No, salary is the seed they are giving you to plan well so you can build your dreams tomorrow. Your salary is a resource. How are you allocating it? If you are earning salary and every month you are not saving at least 15% of your salary into a bank account somewhere, you have a problem with resource allocation. In your salary, know what goes to expenses. In your salary, know what goes to savings for future investments or expansion. Same for entrepreneurs. At the end of the month, know your profit. Don't be that kind of entrepreneur that you just jam box business money and your money, you just jam box it anyhow and you use it anyhow. You are not good with resource allocation. Every entrepreneur should be on a salary. That's the first step to managing your business money. Put yourself on a salary. At the end of the month, you know, okay, this goes to tithe, this goes to house allowance or house expenses, this goes to savings, this goes to a leisure, whatever you're doing. Resource allocation. Divide 300 men into 3 companies. God did not allow him to just use the human resources anyhow. There was some strategic resource or human resource allocation. Even the trumpets and the jars, in the hands of all of them, with touches inside. He allocated the trumpets and the jars into the hands of all of them. Resource allocation. Check yourself. How well are you managing your resources? You are broke not because God is not blessing you. You are broke because you are terrible in resource allocation. And God's like, how can I bless them with some more when the little I've given you, you cannot manage it? Judges chapter 7 verse 17. This is where the action plan comes in. Watch me, he told them, follow my lead. That was Gideon's talking. I'm talking about strategic action plan. This first part I was talking about resource allocation. Now, here, let's talk about the action plan. Watch me, Gideon said. He told them, follow my lead. When I get to the edge of the camp, do exactly as I do. Gideon had a plan. I have a question for you. Do you have a plan? What's the action plan? What is your action plan? Some of you just get up and you stretch yourself in the morning. Oh, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. And so what after that? And then you go and you waste the day with no plan. Watch me, company owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, hear this. Oh, some of you, your companies that are not growing because you are not watchable. Your employees cannot look at you and be blessed. Your lifestyle is not a blessing. You are not strategic. You are not disciplined. You procrastinate. Your lifestyle is terrible. They cannot watch you and grow. You will blame village people. Meanwhile, you are the chief village person against your own life, your lifestyle. Ask yourself, if you're a leader here, ask yourself, can your followers watch you and change? Are you an exemplary leader, CEO, visionary? Watch me, he told them, follow my lead. Can you confidently tell your people to follow your lead? Can you confidently tell your people to follow how you lead? You're married. Can you confidently tell people to follow you? Follow how I take care of my wife and husband. Follow how I serve the Lord. Watch me, look at how I serve the Lord. Watch me, look at how I work hard. Can you confidently say that? When I get to the edge of the camp, he knew where he would get to. Strategic action plan. He's mentioned when I get to the edge of the camp. Very specific. Do exactly as I do. Very clear plan. When I and all who are with me blew our trumpet, planning. He's telling this, he's sharing all of this to them before he was doing them all. So it means it was well planned out. What plans do you have for that business? What plans do you have for that career? Stop existing. If you cannot speak like Gideon here, you are just existing, you are not living. And you're wasting resources, you're wasting time. Wake up, people, you need to wake up. If I ask some of you, what's your plan for the rest of the year? You cannot tell me. What is your plan for this decade? 2020, 2030. If I was 2 years ago, I was leading a masterclass somewhere. I don't know which country was that. I was saying any young person, if you're 18 years and above, you don't have a 10-year plan, how you would dominate 2020 and 2030. You may miss out on life. 2020 and 2030 is our decade. Anybody between the ages of 18 and 35, this is your decade to win, to position yourself for dominance. Very important decade in the history of humanity. People don't know. What is your plan for this decade? This 2022, 2 years has already gone to this decade. What is your plan? A mighty man and woman of valor has a strategic action, very dangerous strategic action plan. Those of you crossover, you go to church, you cross over just to shout amen. You don't go to church with any plan for the whole year. God, like, this one is not serious. Since 2014, I have never gone for crossover without a plan, an elaborate plan for the year. God knows I come dangerously prepared. Every month has something I have to conquer. You're coming for crossover with a serious agreement with God. Some of you usually crossover in a beer parlor. You may not understand what I'm saying for some people. You're coming on the 31st of December with a very elaborate, dangerous plan for the year. For God to bless it. For you to cross over and let the Spirit of God accompany you through it. Some things stop doing things. Even people in the occultic kingdom, on the 31st, they take their plans to their masters. They cross over. Strategic crossover. You want to cross over in a beer parlor or in your bed and write Happy New Year to 1,000 people the next day. What is happy about the new year when you cross over the wrong way? And then you just exist throughout the year. When I and all who are with me blow our trumpets, then from all around the camp blow yours and shout for the Lord and for Gideon. Oh man, I love very clear plan. Do you have a strategy plan? Number 11, handle objections with facts if necessary. Handle objections with facts. Yes, as a mighty man and woman of valor, you will have objections. But don't handle objections with emotion. Some of you speak anyhow, just shout anyhow. Because somebody accused you or said something, you speak anyhow to your employees. You speak anyhow to whoever that you're talking to. Because they objected you. No. Handle objections with facts if necessary. What do I mean if necessary? Some objections you may need to walk away and let it be. Judges 8 verse 1. Now the Ephraimites asked Gideon, why have you treated us like this? Why didn't you call us when you went to fight Midian? And they challenged him vigorously. Right? So Gideon, in this case, did not handle the objection with emotions. There's no explanation on what he did not say anything. There could be a why, but he did not say anything. Not all objections as a leader. Someone always say that if you are going towards the journey of success and you want to attack or reply every dog that is barking, you will never arrive at destination. Some of you want to reply every human being that speaks against you. You want to reply anybody that gossips against you. You don't have that time. Focus on the mission. Many times ignore it. Focus on your life. Because somebody said this, but you want to now leave and go attack the person. Don't you have something important to do with your life? If you don't have facts and not necessary, let it go. Kill them with success. Give them more things to talk about with good success. That's what you should be doing. Number 12, advocate and take care of your people. Yes, a mighty man and woman of valor advocates and takes care of his or her people. You are a good leader. You have employees, you take care of your employees. You have volunteers that work for you. You take care of them. You take care of your family as a man. You take care of your family as a woman. You take care of your people. Judges 8 verse 14, Gideon and his 300 men, exhausted yet keeping up the pursuit to the Jordan and crossed. He said to the men of Succoth, give my troops bread. They are worn out. That is a leader. I am still pursuing Zebah and Zalmunna and the kings of Midian. Give my troops some bread. They are worn out. That is care. That's advocating. He was the one speaking to the men of Succoth, advocating for food, advocating for increase in salaries, advocating for whatever that you can think of. But a mighty man and woman of battle takes care of his people. You take care of your people. Your people, it could be your family, could be your workers, your volunteers, your colleagues, whoever that you are responsible for, take care of them. You have kids, take care of them, pay their school fees on time, work hard for them. You're a man, you're married, take care of your wife. You're a wife, you're married, take care of your husband. You have employees as a startup, as an executive, as a CEO, as a departmental head, take care of their people. It must not be food, just care. Just being there for them is important. Advocate and take care of your people. Without people, Gideon knows without his 300 men, he cannot pursue and take over the kings of Midian. He needs his men to be strong. He needs his men to be happy. He needs his men to know that he cares. They will go the extra mile. See, every follower will go the extra mile for a good leader. If you're a tyrant, if you're wicked, they only work for you when you are there. When you are absent, it stays the same. They don't do anything to advance the mission. Take care, advocate for your people. Number 13, hype or communicate your results to build credibility. Oh yes, know how to make noise about what you have done as results. This is not taking God's glory, of course. Make glory, make noise, communicate your results under the grace of God. Judges chapter 8, verse 15. Then Gideon came and said to the men of Succoth, here are Zebah and Zalmunna, the kings that he was chasing. He already captured them, about whom you taunted me by saying, do you already have the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna in your possession? So when he was asking for food for his troops, these two guys, the men of Succoth were laughing at him. You want us to give you food to feed your men. Meanwhile, you have not captured Zebah and Zalmunna. How far? They were laughing at him, right? They were taunting him. So he came back to the men of Succoth to show proof, to show result. Some of you, you may need to, when you have hammered, you may need to drive to your village and show up that you finally made it. Those people said you will not make it. It's scriptural. Go and tell them that, look, I finally made it. You don't show. You get the point? Because they taunted him and saying, do you already have the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna in your possession? Why should we give bread to your exhausted men? They were laughing at him when he was advocating for them. But when he went and conquered the kings of Midian, when he conquered Zebah and Zalmunna, he passed there. He passed at the men of Succoth to show them, hey, look, I have conquered these people. You are laughing at me, right? Who is laughing last now? Who is the real mighty man of valor now? The Lord has helped me to conquer Zebah and Zalmunna. The Lord promised that he should go, for he will be with him. Some of you, for you to build credibility, you need to communicate results. You need to communicate results. It's very important. There are some things you will not handle in this life if you are not good at communicating the results you have produced. Let's say, for example, you want to be, you're an agricultural consultant, for example. Let's say there are two agricultural consultants. A comes to you, you have a farm, and says, hello, sir, my name is this, and I am a graduate from agricultural school and I have skills that I can help in crop production or increase their yield and all of that. If you give me a chance, I will help you to do this and that and that. That's consultant A. Consultant B comes and say, hello, sir, my name is this, and I am a graduate from agricultural school. And after my school, I did volunteering with 2 farms, 4 hectares of farm. And I assisted the owner of the farm in crop production, and I increased their yield by 30%. Look at the pictures of the farm I was managing. Who are you going to trust? The second person, of course, because the person showed you results. Results build credibility. In business and in career, avoid a lot of I will and talk of what you have done, especially if you're knocking at the doors of opportunities. I will, what you will do does not build credibility. It is what you have done that builds credibility. Be very conscious about that. In the business world and in the career and in the corporate setting, and I will, when you're looking for opportunities, I will, when you're looking for people to trust you and give you a task and pay you, is not powerful. It is what you have done and showing proof of your capacity, your competence, and your experience that qualifies you for that opportunity. Be very good, like Gideon. Be good at hyping your results. Be good at communicating your results to build credibility. Some of you are looking for jobs, no volunteering experience. You sit in your father's house morning to evening doing nothing. You package your CV, you send it. Who will employ you when you're doing nothing? There's something called employment gap. Nobody likes employment gap. People like people who are up to something. Wake up, be up to something. Look for results. Go and volunteer in an NGO. Go and intern in a startup. Even go to your church. There are some of you, you read accounting, you're unemployed, your church has no accounting system. Go there and build an accounting system. You can use that as proof somewhere in an interview. Show results of your credibility and wake up. Ask for help. Yes, mighty men and women of valor ask for help. Mighty men and women of valor ask for help. On your own, you will not rise to the top. You need the help of men and the help of God. In Judges 8:24, and he said, I do have one request. That is Gideon, a whole mighty man of valor, asking for help. Ask for help when you need it. Open your mouth and ask for help. Don't assume that people know that you need something and begin to sit quiet and you're angry and they have not given me this. Have you asked for it? I was talking to one lady. She was angry. My father has always mentioned that I should ask for something before he gives me. Who are you? Do you know what your father is going through in his head? Open your mouth and beg if you need something. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Some other abuse that I will forget. If you don't ask me, I will forget that you need something. You now say, like one of my sisters was saying one time, brother, it's only thing I should ask for it. If you don't ask, I will not remember. You're the one that needs help now. Am I the one looking for help? Me, when I look for it, I will ask for it. Ask for help. And he said, I do have one request, that each of you give me an earring from your share of the plunder. A whole Gideon, a whole mighty man. Some of you are struggling because you have kept your mouth closed. You are in lack, you are broke, and you are poor. Your pride will not allow you to ask for help. It's dangerous to be broke and proud at the same time. It's not good for your future. It's dangerous to be struggling and having ego at the same time. It's not good for your destiny. They answered, we will be glad to give them. So they spread out their garments, and each of them threw a ring from his plunder onto it. He asked for help and he got it. What do you need? Who can help you? There's something I teach startups called corporate begging. At this, you cannot be starting a business and you're proud at the same time. You have limited capital, limited resources, know how to beg. In corporate begging, I always teach them, when you're starting something, write the names of people in your network. Write the list of things that you need. begin to compare what can you beg from who. Go and beg. Be a good beggar in suit. The worst thing they can say is, no, I will not give. They will not cut your head. And if they say no, they will not give. It doesn't reduce one hair from your head. Stop being proud unnecessarily. Some of you are broke and stranded because you are feeling too big to go and say you need this. Asking for help doesn't reduce you in anything. It just shows that you know that you are human and you are limited. And you are mature enough to know that you need help to succeed. We all need help as human beings. When only God is, nobody can help him. Who are you to help God? Now, those are the 14 lifestyles that I will encourage people to live as far as being a mighty man and woman of valor is concerned. Now, what should we not do? There's something pertinent about Gideon's life. There's a place where Gideon went wrong, which I want us to learn from. This is where I think Gideon went wrong, and what we can learn. I have not seen any record where God warned Gideon not to rule over the Israelites. If he was afraid that ruling over the Israelites would be against God's will, he should have asked God for direction. He already had a relationship with God. Why am I saying this? If you read this story, the book of Judges, you will notice that after Gideon had died, the Israelites went back to where he was trying to deliver them from. The problem is there was no plan after Gideon. Judges 8 verse 33, no sooner had Gideon died than the Israelites again prostituted themselves to the Baals. They set up Baal buried as their God. And this is where Gideon took them away from. They are going back again. And did not remember the Lord their God, who had rescued them from the hands of all their enemies on every side. They also failed to show any loyalty to the family of Gideon, in spite of all the good things he had done for them. The challenge I'm seeing here is that the wrong move that Gideon made is that he did not lead any succession planning. There was no proper planning. There was a poor succession planning and poor culture of sustainability. We have not seen anybody, not like it looked like Joshua and Moses, right? In Gideon's case, he led them successfully, defeated the Amalekites and the Midianites and all these people. And then there was no structure. There was no structure. What happens when he transitions? There are some of us like that. We are doing good things. We are building good things. But if we are not careful, if we are not investing in sustainability and succession planning, if we get sick or we get tired, our businesses can no longer function in our absence. Some of you are leading departments. If you get sick or you're not at work, that department may struggle. That is not good. That's the wrong move that Gideon did. So I feel that if Gideon was afraid that it was not God's will for him to rule, he should have asked God. He had a relationship with God already. Go and pray and ask God, God, is this your will? Should I do this? You see? Because when he died, you cannot work hard for years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years on something. Like we have seen that in Cameroon. There are many companies in Cameroon that the founders died 2 years after, 1 year after, few months after. The children start fighting over the leftovers. And few months later, the company starts dying. No structure, no succession planning. We need to learn that at this time. Start intentionally investing in a governance structure for what you're building. Start investing in a leadership culture of sustainability in what you're building, so that you should not work hard for years like Gideon. And when you die or you get sick or whatever happens, everything you worked towards start going back in reverse. You start going back to where you didn't want them to be. This can be avoided. Proper succession planning, proper investments in the right culture of sustainability is very important. It will help you to build something that will last. In conclusion, as an active member of Professionals and Entrepreneurs Fellowship, it is your responsibility to engineer change. It is your responsibility to work hard, work with God, and change your career and change your business. And until you do so, change will not happen. The empowerment to become incredible, the empowerment to become different is there, released by God. But you need to do your part. You need to live the right lifestyle that I've been explaining for almost 2 hours right now. If you don't wake up and begin to live the right lifestyle, few years later, few months later, or decades after, you will have a lot of regrets. Not because God was not willing to bless you, but because you will realize that God was so much willing to bless you, but you were not ready to do your part for God's blessings to manifest, for the glory of God to shine over your life. Wake up, begin to practice this lifestyle. These elements I've shared with you. It is time for implementation. It is time for practice. Remember, relevant knowledge, relevant revelations is useless without execution. Thank you so much, everybody, for sparing 2 hours of your evening to be part of this masterclass. And next Thursday at the same time, we will do another incredible session. Thank you so much. If you were blessed, you have a question, raise up your hand right now and let's talk about it quickly. And of course, we go to bed. It's almost 11 p.m. Cheers.